I found something in the store.
What did you find?
The place.
Backrooms. The current phenomenon sweeping cinemas was over $200 million made as of now, directed by Kane Parsons, who is only 20 years old, one of the youngest directors to make this much money.
How old are you?
I'm 4 years old.
You are the youngest person ever.
Yes!
All of this stems from a simple 4chan reply to this image. The original post reads as following: "If you're not careful, and you no clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights and maximum humbuzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you." This small post inspired Kane to make a found footage video where he began to build his own lore and interpretation of the backrooms. This feels important to point out as there are many ways the backroom has been handled depending on who's behind it. Some mythos consider it having multiple levels, each with a multitude of different entities. Others have Kanye chasing you on Roblox. None of them are wrong per se, just different. I've heard some complaints about this, and all I can say is there's a whole playlist on YouTube of his world building for his version of the backrooms. What did you expect exactly? Of course it's gonna follow his pre-established lore about Async, a research institution who are investigating the backrooms after opening a portal to it, which is causing tears around the world where people can no-clip through and into the backrooms. Before I get into the movie, please like and subscribe. As supporting this channel really helps, it does mean a lot to me. And let's just get into it. Meet our protagonist, Clock, played by, God, I hope I don't butcher his name, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Hi, I'm Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Clock is a failed architect and struggling furniture store owner. And when I say struggling, I mean it. This guy's a certified bum. His wife left him, and he's low-key homeless. And he's buns to the game. He even has to dress up as a pirate for advertisements in order to get more customers, just to pile on top of the rage rate that his life has become. In the lower floor of his store is a gateway to the backrooms. Yeah, this guy's life can't get any worse. Except it can. Like any rational member of society, he just ignores it and moves on with his pitiful life, is what I would say if he doesn't go in there exploring, which I can understand. Curiosity type shit. But the second he runs across that cutout of a caveman speaking different languages, not turning around seems like a bit of a mistake. My ass would have booked it the second I heard a pin drop, man, I'm out of there. But nah, he just keeps going. Even beginning to map out the whole place, which yeah, best of luck trying to map out an entire alternate dimension, bro. He goes to his therapist, Mary, and while usually the two of them do roleplay, ayo polls, not in a weird way or anything, in a therapeutic way where the two roleplay the night that Clock got kicked out of his house, which I don't know much about therapy but doesn't sound the healthiest. However, today, instead he comes to her with the discovery of the backrooms. And with good reason, she thinks he's schizo. She wonders if he's been drinking, so to prove that he's not a raving lunatic, Clock gets the help of his assistant manager, Kat, and her boyfriend who owns a camera. He doesn't tell them bloody anything about what they're going to do. He calls it just research. I mean, he's not wrong, but I feel like you gotta warn someone before, you know, you take them there. Like, let them prepare better than just cameras and crop tops, but hindsight is 20/20. At first, everything's fine. We have this awesome sequence where we explore the backrooms, full VHS camera style, straight out of the Greb series, and then these mofos suddenly decide to forget that they have brains, and upon seeing a slippery slope, and I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or any other fancy way, literally a slide down, their first thought is just, hey, let's tie a rope around my partner and send him down there. You know, it must be a rocky relationship, huh? Down there, Ariel Targaryen finds some sideways backrooms lined with massive piles of dirty laundry, clothes covered in filth, and laying on top is the exact crop top that he was wearing earlier. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and one of these piles of clothes peeking out was a head, and seeing this in cinemas, I almost shat myself. Thankfully it was just one of the cavemen cutout, but man did it scare the bowels out of me. Hearing something shuffle in the distance, he tries to get back up. The two pull the rope, and he makes it back until suddenly he's yanked back down. His fat ass drags the bed with him, pushing his girl and Clock down. We casually just see Iron get dragged away. I'm sure he's fine, whatever. And Clock, recognizing just how many views we get on YouTube, and him still needing proof, I guess, picks up the camera and records absolute cinema. For real, this part of the movie is hands down my favorite, as we get a glimpse of the true extent of the backrooms. Clock moves through rooms that resemble a child's nursery, your grandma's crusty stale house, and my favorite personal, a pool. We see pool rooms in this and it's dope! Before going into this, my homeboy flat out just lied to me and told me there were no levels in this, and well, there technically isn't. Come on, this is sick as hell! We also see what perfectly replicates the memory of waking up early on a Christmas morning while everyone else is asleep. It's cold and lonely, but the warmth of the tree acts as a beacon. It's hauntingly beautiful, and while yes, still creepy, it's a tragic nostalgic feeling that it evokes. A sweet yet contradictory melancholy. Clock runs into a dead end, perching the camera onto a lawn table. We get a static shot of him trying to contact Haiti, who can apparently see him, but in front of him is only a wall full of tiles. And here, we get my second ass shitting of the movie. The static camera gets picked up, and it just keeps getting higher, to a point where no reasonable human could hold up to. And then darkness. From here, we pivot protagonist over to Mary, who you might remember as Clock's therapist. Now, I've heard some people say that the second half of the film is weaker than the first, and while I agree with some aspects, like less focus on the mystery of the Backrooms, I think we get a great character study here on both Mary and Clock, which acts as a pivotal reason for why this movie was so good. I mean, for real, the characters are just so well written, but we'll get to that down the road. Mary is a troubled woman, to say the least. She has a bunch of mommy issues after she was forced by her to be trapped inside her house for all of her childhood because she thought some people were out to get them. My theory is that it's async, but we don't really get much upon that. Her whole character is that she can't let herself go of the trauma that her mother left behind. You know, as a kid, when you see wet concrete and you put your hand in it or you draw something silly, for her the symbol is her placing her hand on top of it, because that's the activity she did with her mother. She still holds onto this rock years later, even after her house was demolished. Mary, noticing the clock has been missing for an unspecified amount of time. I mean, we can assume it's been weeks due to the stack of bills that are just jammed into the door. Damn, clock really is broke, huh? Mary, maybe out of a sense of worry or curiosity, or both, finds herself in the Backrooms, and some things have changed since she last saw this place. Remember when I said Clock used to dress up as a pirate for TV advertisements? Well, it looks like we have a whole mural depicting a pirate that feeds on people. I mean, it's really well done, honestly. Clearly the poster that made this, probably Clock, definitely has a future in the arts. Now, I say that as a joke, but we know from Clock's aspirations to be an architect and his sketches that he's not half bad.
It does have a very schizo post feeling about it, like something you'd find out of the Unabomber's manifesto. But I'm sure Clock's state of mind is perfectly healthy, right?
Because standing right behind Mary is this Clock right there. Now in cinemas it's pretty scary, but looking back at it now, it just looks like he found out Little Caesars is closed, or his favorite teacher just yelled at him. It's hard to take him a bit seriously. Clock invites Mary over for dinner, kidnaps her, and here we meet the nuclear family. We got the schizo dad, free-faced mom, chopped unk, that thing, and severed head in the fridge. Clock, being in his right state of mind, scalps the still life woman. Still life is what we call these entities that spring from the Backrooms memories of people who have been here before, or feeds off the memories of the inhabitants. It's a tad vague, but imagine it like a person that moved while being photocopied, or while they were inside an MRI machine. Wink wink. Honestly, it's like if these people were just made of pre-com. Also, Clock sustains himself by eating these people, which we never see Mary eat them, which is a shame because I was a bit curious to see how they tasted. I mean, it kind of looks good. It looks like fairy floss, and as of recording this, it's currently 5:54 a.m. No, I did not wake up to record this. I've been awake for God knows how long, and I am starving, and I would bite a chunk out of that fat guy's belly because, damn, I'm kind of hungry. I'm not saying this in a cannibalistic way. I'm just saying, you know, God forbid a guy wants to eat some of the backroom delicacies. For real though, let me get a slice of that. Calling back to the start of the movie, Clock and Mary undergo roleplay of the night that his wife kicked him out of the house. Clock makes sure to make Mary lore accurate to his wife by scalping the still-eyes woman orange hair, since Clock's wife was ginger, and he plops that scalp on Mary. And low-key, she looks good as a ginger. It suits her. Mary snaps, took her long enough, and tells Clock that he's the reason why his life is so shit. He blames the world instead of taking any responsibility for it. But if I was broke with no hoes, damn, I'd do the same. Wait a minute. I am broke with no game. Fuck, man. I'm blowing my shit smooth off straight after this video. Clock confronts his feelings and admits that he's happy here in the Backrooms, a place devoid of any responsibilities where he can just run away from the world. For him, it's more comfortable here, where he can stew in his madness and accept that he can't change. It's heartbreaking. He's clearly insane, but for a reason, you can't help but be compelled by how he's finally found where he belongs, even if it's this fucked up alternate dimension that rots anything was in. Clock lets Mary go, but this triumphant moment is short-lived, as say hello to Clock's very own still life, Captain Clock. Standing at a whopping 8 feet, we have this beautiful bastard, hailing all the way from the Backrooms. His talents are wasted here. He should be playing for the Knicks. Maybe they can get someone to rival Wemby's height. Nixon 5.
Nixon 5, Nixon 5, Nixon 5. Fuck Trey Young, fuck Trey Young, fuck Trey Young.
Clark tells his mirror, I say mirror loosely, imperfect copy is more accurate, that they can finally be who they are and don't have to change, because that's just how they wired. I presume this causes a psychological change in the captain, as well we can assume earlier that the two of them have a somewhat healthy relationship, because they've coexisted this long. For real, I want a sitcom of the two of them living a happy life. Instead, the captain picks up Clark and takes a fat, heavy chunk out of his shoulder, biting it with ease. Mary immediately dips out, but apparently a shoulder isn't enough to satiate the captain as he follows suit, dragging Clark's body along with him. And that's the last we see of Clark. Rest in peace, bro. You were truly one of the greatest horror protagonists. Back to the chase. Mary escapes through a neighborhood in some tight spaces into this chasm. Looks like the devs just deleted an entire chunk. I mean, it also feels reminiscent of, well, to me at least, of looking down from above a car park and seeing the levels keep going. She makes her way up to a trapdoor in the ceiling, just really inconvenient placement there. And ahead of it is an almost perfect replica of this door, with a fuck-ass caveman in the middle that Mary trips over, causing a bunch of gas to go off in the room. And in order to escape the clutches of the pirate, Mary grabs the concrete she's been treasuring the whole movie, the one last reminder of her mother, and smashes it by trying to cave the captain's head in, and it bleeds everywhere. This guy's a squirter, which begs some questions. Is he still lifes don't bleed? My guess is that because Clark was down this for so long, it gave the Backrooms more information to better his replica, slowly transforming it more human, or at least an imitation of it, with blood and autonomy. Mary makes her way out and runs into Async. Remember them from the start of the video? They hold her for questioning, and we get the guy from Creep give her some lore and whatnot. It's nothing really too important. Probably the weakest part of the movie for me, to be honest. Actress is great though, don't get me wrong. Mary's fate is left up to debate. It's ambiguous, but we do see her still life twitching as the last thing we see. Hot damn, alright, a lot to unpack. Now this movie definitely kept me thinking for days. Hell, it's one of the reasons why I'm making this video. I know I spent hours after this cinema talking with my mates about it. Mainly about the psychology of Clark's character, since he's such an interesting case. I just wish we could have spent more on his descent into madness, as while calling it abrupt is too harsh. There was just so much potential that you see how he gets affected as a man who is virtually rejected by the world, finding a home in the Backrooms. That aspect was so heartbreaking and cool. On the other hand, while Mary wasn't as engaging as Clark, I think the relationship between the two was really fascinating. I think that dynamic could have been explored more, but I still enjoyed what we had. Overall, I thought this movie was incredible, and I personally couldn't get enough of it. Now, there's already talks of a sequel in the works, which, considering how much money the movie made, A24 would be a bunch of idiots not to. I have no clue what Kane Parsons has in store for it, but I hope whatever it is, he cooks it. Unfortunately, that's all I have for you guys today, but if you enjoyed it, please comment down below what you thought of the movie. Maybe you thought it was utter dog shit, maybe it was absolute cinema. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please like and subscribe, and see ya.